stop at her shop.
Oh, yes, that's
Furs by Gilbert, used to shop there.
that's
Yeah,
something. That's
yeah.
something we could go back in history.
Oh
And
yeah.
the classic architecture of our houses is, with our porches and this time of year, of course, people really take advantage of sitting out and seeing their neighbors walking up and down
And
the
that
street.
yeah, and that's luxury that we have here
Hmm.
on Ludgate. Maybe a couple houses on Pennington or Menlo or
Hmm.
Dana have porches, but we have a porch. I have a back porch as well. Some of
Yes.
the some of the homes do not have back porches, but I do like the convenience of having the front porch
Oh,
and
yes.
having the back porch as well.
Yes, I do too. I do too. I'm with you on that one. So we have a number of wonderful pictures in your story. I mean, there's so much, everybody. You have to just be ready to hear the wonderful story that Sophronia is going to share with us about her life and her experiences and her travels. So let's start off here and introduce us to your family.
This is my mommy and my daddy. I'm Meredith Dixon, and this is my mom, Dolores Dixon.
Oh, nice, nice.
Now, this actually was in Detroit too.
Okay, so you were born in Detroit.
I was born in Detroit, and they would go back and forth. My oldest brother, and I were born in Detroit. My other
Mhm.
brothers were born here, but we often visit Detroit.
Okay. And then you told me that your family moved from Detroit.
Yes, they
Okay.
yes they moved from
Yeah.
Detroit
You're out in
to Cleveland.
California?
But I went to live with my grandmother
Mm.
in California. So I stayed with her, 1320 West 54th and Crenshaw. I'll never
Okay.
forget. Went to Crenshaw High, and I
Mm.
I loved it because the fat burgers I really love. Um, but I love the way that the schools were designed.
Mm.
They had open campus, so
Oh,
everything
yes.
was like outdoors, and lunch was outdoars. You could.
Now, how long were you out? How
I
long were
was
you in
I
California?
was out there 4 years,
Okay.
but I would have gone back and forth visiting my grandmother,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's
some
special.
family members that live there.
And then your family moved here to Cleveland?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, now you were still in high school at that time, right?
No, my family stayed here.
Mm-hmm.
My mother sent me to live with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in California with my grandmother. And I had an uncle and some more relatives that lived there. So,
But
but when
but
I
you
came, but when I came back to Cleveland, I um, it took it a little adjustment because you get to California and you get accustomed to the weather.
yes.
Not having to put coats on and shoes. It doesn't take very long to get spoiled to,
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh,
weather
yeah.
like now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was interesting. I had no choice but to get adjusted to it
Mm-hmm.
because my grandmother was getting older, and I was a teenager, typical teenager. So so she gave me the boot.
Oh, oh, time to
I
move
had to
on.
come
Huh?
back,
Time to move
come
on.
back to stay with mommy. You know,
That sounds good.
yeah, yeah. It
You,
was it was, but the experience being in California and just meeting the people, and I tell people I lived on Rodeo Drive. You know,
okay.
I lived.
Okay.
My aunt would always take me there, and I had an aunt and uncle that had a donut shop in
Mm.
Pasadena. So I was all over in California, Pasadena, Altadena, Compton, But 13, I lived on West 54th and Crenshaw. Now I said I was going to go back just to see if the house was still there, you know, but
Have you gone back? Have you
I
been
have
back?
not gone back,
Okay. Okay. Well, that would be a nice trip.
yeah,
California is different. I mean,
yeah, it
it's
has
it's a
changed,
place people have to really experience.
right. One of the things, well, no, I take it back. I did go back grown. One of
Hmm.
the things that bother me with California is just all of the people. You have all these rich people, and then you have
Hmm.
the people that are on that live on the corners and, need food or
Mhm.
so that really just bothered me. You have this
Big.
like there was no middle ground. It's either
Yeah.
you're rich or you're very poor.
Yes, yes, yes. I was out there for a very short period of time, and I said exactly the same thing. I
Yeah,
said the wealthy, I mean, just
yeah,
more wealthy than you can even imagine. And then there are people who are not, many.
absolutely, absolutely. And that
Mhm.
would bother that would bother you. It's like, okay, maybe you need to build more facilities to help
Mhm.
people get on their feet, recuperate, or whatever the issues may be. Because people. I remember Reverend Ann Jefferson saying, she said, if people knew better, they would do better. And
Mhm.
I agree.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So when you graduated from high school, you went on to college. You're here in Cleveland. Where did you go to school?
Mhm. Um, High school, ended up graduating from Collinwood, and then I went to community college and got an associate degree in real estate because I did real estate. I was a real estate appraiser. Myself and Shirley, we were the first African American that were real estate appraisers at the time,
Mm. Mm.
and I worked for HUD, matter of fact. And then after doing the real estate, then I went back to school to Hairston and got my bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in finance. And then later, of course, in between that, I got married too. And then I sat out some years and then I decided to go back to school.
Mm.
And yeah, my wedding picture.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Thank you. And then actually, I got married in California. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I got married in California. So then I went to Kent State.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my bachelor's, I went to Ursuline and got my bachelor's. And then sat out. And then I went back to school, went to Kent State and got my master's in education of. Oh no, I got my master's in behavioral science. That was my first master's.
Mm.
Sat out some more. Then I decided, and all in between kids, and decided to go back and get another master's in education administration, which is the art of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Then sat out some more years. But in the meantime, excuse me, I'm working. I work for Cleveland Metropolitan School District as a teacher and then as administrator. And
Mm.
then I went back and got my superintendent's license. And there applied for a PhD program, which is like will never happen again. I mean,
Well, you never know. Never say never. So
well,
these
that's true. That's true. I
are,
heard about a
yeah,
lady,
never say never. Yes,
but
and you had quite a career. I mean, as you acquired a number of degrees and then education was where you spent most of your professional life. This is a collage of pictures of Cleveland schools. Tell us some of the schools where you taught and where you were
okay.
principal.
I taught at John F. Kennedy.
Mhm. Which is no
Actually,
longer.
I did some.
If anybody recognizes a picture in the top left,
Yeah,
you
I taught at
remember that it's no
John F.
longer there.
Kennedy, the one on Harvard,
Mm-hmm.
for years under Mary Rice and Rob McKinney. Along with I taught with Miata Hunter.
Yes, yes. Some of you might recognize that name.
Yeah, yeah. We actually we had a ball. we
Oh, good.
we had a
Loved
ball at
Kennedy.
Kennedy. Yeah,
She loved
we loved
Kennedy.
Kennedy. We had great principals, both Mary Rice and Rob McKinney, and so that was just a wonderful time in my career teaching there. I had so we had Jackie Black, and I mean it was just a wonderful group of teachers, and the teachers were genuinely concerned about the well-being of the
Mhm.
children,
Yes.
and especially high school children. We had our issues because they had closed John Adams, and they had the
Mhm.
merger, and so Then so we had, the rivalry there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I can't say enough about Dr. Mary Rice because uh, I don't know, she might hear this one day, but she was a powerhouse. She was um, her and I don't know if he's Sergeant McGrath at the time. They used to leave the building when school was out and walk down from John F. Kennedy to Lee Road to make sure that there was no fighting or no issues, not from that stretch, from Kennedy to Lee Road and Harvard, or whatever you did past that, But I love the fact that she set such a example, and she was such a role model for me. She was actually one of my mentoring principals.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So
And then,
yes, come on. You go right ahead. You were at some as well.
Then I'm trying to see. So then I left there and I went and that's when they introduced through Knowledge Works, the small schools initiative. And I was one of the principals at Glenville, and I was the principal of the School of Leadership, Health, and Wellness at Glenville. And
here's Glenville High School.
Yeah, there's Ted, and they were with me during that my period there, and he had signed his son that particular year. I don't know, I think it was 2023.
I think his son went to Ohio State, didn't he?
He went to Ohio State.
So if anybody doesn't know Ted Ginn, I think everybody, Cleveland,
yes,
Ted Ginn, and Glenville, probably the winningest football coach at Glenville.
Right, and I tell Ginn when I see him, I say, listen, you wait till I leave or retire, and then you run. You know how many times we've been to the state and never made it? Now I leave, I'm gone. And now you win 2 state championships. Yes. But to God be the glory. Yes. Very spiritual man. And I'm so glad I had the honor to be in his presence. Okay. And his wife, I can't say enough about his wife, Janice. She was the same way. She used to take my son. They took my son to some of the games that both Ted and Troy were playing at the time.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about your family, because you have brothers and we have more pictures of your family, and we'll get to know, okay, so tell us who this is.
So that's
we recognize you.
Okay, so you recognize me, and that's my cousin Michael. Some of you may know Michael Dixon. He was a counselor for many, 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 many years at Cleveland Heights. His is Sandra Dixon, and she is in fact, she just had a concert. I think they said they had like 150 people just in the choir alone.
Oh, nice.
2 weeks ago. And that's my first cousin, and then that's my mother I'm with. And nice. I'm blessed to have my mother. I will not tell her age; she will have a fit. So
beautiful.
She'll get it somehow.
And the picture, the young picture of her, she really looks wonderful.
Yes,
yes,
and I'm blessed because she has her struggles. As you get older, get struggles. But she was like a lady of honor, and there she is younger. And she was just always very active in church, very strict mother. Well, of course you had to be a strict mother. I got all brothers, and so she was an excellent role model for both her and my dad, for my family.
So tell us who's in this family picture.
That's so my brother, the one looks all cool. That's my brother. That's my brother. That's on the left, if you're saying. Yeah. And then that's Michael in the back, my cousin again. And then that's my baby brother, Darren. He also went to Heights. And then that's Kayla, my niece. And then this is Raquel watch out for her because she would definitely make it to the women's basketball league. She's
Oh,
already, yeah, she's awesome.
oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, she's
Okay.
awesome. She's like, what is she's probably about maybe six, 5'11" or
Mhm.
5'10", five,
Mhm.
and she just went to high school.
Oh,
So
wow.
high school, yeah. So watch
Mhm.
out for her, Raquel Dixon.
Mhm.
Then that's my mother, then Dolores Dixon, and then that's myself, and then that's my granddaughter,
Oh,
London.
nice. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What's your niece? Your
And
niece?
actually, this was Easter. This we did an Easter photo.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, so we should look out for is this your niece? We're going to look
Yeah,
out for
the
the
one with the
next few
striped dress.
years. Okay,
The,
we'll keep that in
yeah,
mind. We're going to keep that. You're going to have to keep us posted because the
yes,
schools are going to come after her.
yes,
She's going to be recruited to,
yeah.
seriously.
They're already looking at her. Yes,
Oh,
they're.
wow. Mm, wow. That's something. Women's
Yes.
basketball has really come a long way.
Oh, it happened. Absolutely.
Hmm. Yes. And we have the next picture, I think, again, of you and your brothers. Yes.
Yes, this is my brothers. I love dearly.
Hmm.
So that at the top picture is my baby brother and my dad and my cool brother. And for the one,
Cool brother.
he's the cool brother. And then I have my brother, the one that I was in. And he had his lab at Case West Reserve under Dr. David Love
Mm.
at 14. And so he started out being a chemist.
Mm.
And then, yes, that's he and I.
Mhm.
I was, I felt like I was like, okay, brother, he's telling me what to do, you know.
Mm.
So we did research on egg embryos.
Mm.
Egg embryos.
My goodness.
Yeah, we
You were
dissect them.
14, you in high school and junior high?
Yes, this is when I first got back from
Mm-hmm.
California, and he already had the lab. And of course, I'm going to try to infringe in on it. Well, you can't leave your sister out. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was awesome.
So what high school was he in? What high school did he attend?
Okay, so my baby brother and the one in the green, they went to Cleveland Heights, and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
my other brother, he went to Shaw, and he was actually known for basketball. He got a basketball scholarship from Shaw, so he traveled around.
Okay. I mean, that's wonderful. He was able to, be in high school and be at Case Western, in a lab at the same time. I mean,
Yes.
programs, yes, to help introduce young people to what they may do in their
Well,
careers.
well, Dr. Love did that, and
Mm.
that was he just saw something
Mm.
great in my brother as far
Mm.
as when it came to research and science, and
Wow.
he gave him the opportunity. And I actually, I cannot fail to mention that Reverend Hilton Smith also was the forerunner of making sure my brother got into that
Yes,
position.
yes. I know Reverend Smith. I know
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
I met
yeah,
him.
yeah. Good family friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. So introduce us to the people in this picture.
The people in this.
Recognize
Okay,
you.
so to the left is my son and my other niece, Leah,
Mhm.
and they were just acting silly. And then to the right is myself and my two daughters.
Yes.
Antoinette is in the front, and Jade is in the back, and she just got a huge promotion downtown at the Justice Center.
Mm. Well,
So,
tell us what your daughters do. You were telling us about this
oh,
before we came on, but let's tell everybody.
okay. Yeah, you know what? When she sent me this, I'm thinking like, okay, so you're being very casual about this honor that you're receiving. But actually, her name is Jade Soramikam. She has her BSN, RN, CDCA. She is Associate Director of Nursing and she is now does chemical dependency counseling with the inmates, as well as she is works as the assistant director of nursing for correctional medicine
Mm.
at the Justice Center. And that's the one in the glasses. Yeah, and so and Antoinette, that's Jade in the back. And Antoinette is actually a teacher at Collinwood.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Actually, she worked with Miata too for sure.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And Miata, even though Miata, I always ask her, she taught with Lindsay. She never really taught my son, but she knew my son.
Okay. 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 All you educators,
Yes.
very important. Very
Yes. Yes.
important.
Absolutely.
Proud mother. And
Yes.
we have other pictures of your family. And I should ask somebody who's with us this evening, does anybody recognize someone in this picture? This should be a quiz. Anybody go right ahead. Tell us who's in these pictures around you.
Well, first of all, the bottom pictures is my baby brother. It's Jade again. That's my niece Janice. She works in Washington. And then that's my grandson Jalen. And then the top picture, Jeff Johnson, Judge Jeff Johnson, and Halle Berry, and that's my mother. And then that was a couple of her friends. I'm not quite sure who they were.
What was this occasion where Halle Berry happens to
my
be?
My mother was very active with the social development and and SCLC. She was a political activist. She would work. She just did so many things. I just couldn't even keep up with my mom. So how her and Hallie was like a daughter of hers. So that was like I was not kind of in that mix. That was her thing, but I was just glad that I think Jeff might have been campaigning, and I think they both, Hallie and Jeff, went to Bedford together. So, and my mother was part of that entourage.
Yes.
During that time.
Well, we always know that we can claim Halle Berry as a wonder.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely,
for sure. And we have
and my niece, the one that I'm sorry, in a minute, but the one that's in the picture with my daughter, she graduated from Shaker in 1995.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's around Mariam graduated in 93, and these young people know each other over the years.
Yes.
Familiar faces, familiar faces. That's great. So we have another wonderful family picture. Family pictures. Okay, so we have more familiar faces. I should ask the question, who wants to take the quiz? Does anybody recognize someone in one of these pictures? I'll take the time. Go on, Sophronia. You can share with us who's here.
Okay, well, to the left is my son. He was in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah with Lee Daniels and
yes,
Lakeith. Then that's my grandson, signing day. He got a full ride at
the picture
right,
bottom left.
The bottom in the center. Yeah, he actually went to Beechwood, but he wanted to go to St. Joe's because his dad graduated from St. Joe's. And so he finished there and he got a scholarship to Seton Hill. College. Yeah. And then above that, of course, that is the Angela Davis, along with my son. They were recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month. She's actually wearing one of his pins. And then to the left, to the right of that is my two grandsons. This is when they both played football for Beechwood. They played football and basketball for Beechwood. And they both were quarterbacks. And I think they played another position, but they were excellent at their sport. And then that's my brother. We all went to Vegas. My brother never been to Vegas, so that's my son and my brother, and they were having a ball. in Vegas.
Well, that's why you go there, right?
Yes, right, right, absolutely.
Playground. Ah,
Yeah, we had a good time. He had a good time.
that's nice. So we'll have to
And
look at Judas and the Black Messiah again.
yeah,
Is that what Judas and the Black Messiah? That was a good
yeah.
movie.
And if you notice, I'm saying my son is in Vegas, but he's wearing a Cleveland Browns. I
Okay.
just noticed that.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
okay.
a Browns fan. That's
Okay. Yes. And this picture to the left of my granddaughters,
Hmm.
that's Brooklyn and London. They
Okay.
go to Shaker, and
Nice.
every Thanksgiving and or Christmas, my daughter have them volunteer
Hmm.
at the city mission, and
Oh,
that's what they're
okay.
doing. And
Very
then
good.
that is London in the middle with our family dog, Royce. I guess she was like, "Oh, Nana, you taking my picture?" And then, of course, that Royce chilling in front of the. I've never seen a dog that loved the heat more than this dog. This dog lived the heat wherever a heat vent was. You see her right in front of the heat vent.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
you see, I have a big fireplace too, wall fireplace. She's just like
Wow.
trying to capture it every which way.
Yes.
And then below that picture, that those are my three children,
Oh,
and
okay.
Jade,
Okay. Early
and
picture. They're young. All righty. Nice family pictures.
yeah, yeah, that's my crew. And
Need
so this is
another.
my other crew. This is when we're a lot younger. And I'm thinking like, oh gosh, where did the years go? But nevertheless, that's my mom at top, and you see me to the left, and to the right is my sister-in-law, and then that's Raquel, the one with the tongue. Well, it's two.
Mhm.
Raquel is next to her mom. That's the one you're going to watch out for, Raquel Dixon for.
Okay. We're gonna keep her in mind.
Yeah, yes. And then Taylor was my son's friend. And then on the two girls, one on the right and one on the
That's
left, that's my granddaughters, London and Brooklyn.
it looks like a selfie. That's a nice picture.
Yes,
Everybody.
Taylor took that. Yes.
Okay. Nice family picture. So there's
Oh, there's the jacket.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, you
So
got that.
yeah,
Tell us
thank you.
about that.
Yeah. So I am a designer. My son is a designer, and this is one of his pieces that he and I put together. This is a
Mhm.
silk blouse. We did a his and hers, and it's really, really very pretty on. And this jacket I thought it was like, I mean, we have a couple other pieces that are really super, but this one, if you see the design and the
Mhm.
pattern. So let me tell you about the design. Design is actually a piece of artwork of his that he actually, when he commissioned the company in Korea to do um, his designs, we had I don't know how they do it, but you guys know how they do everything, like send it there electronically and all of that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this is the trench coat that we designed. As you see how the belt has part
Yeah.
of, and then the cuff, the belts that on the sleeves, and then there's part of the collar that has that same pattern throughout, and then there's we chose to have a red lining.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, we have some excellent items. We just have not gone to mass production yet, but
Mhm.
hopefully that'll be in the near future. I would like to bring your attention to the TV. If you can see it, it's
Yes.
okay. That TV was actually in the American Gangster. That same TV.
How did
That
that
is on
happen?
old Magnavox. Yes, that was it.
Oh,
That TV was in not that TV itself, but a replica of that TV was in American Gangster. So if you
oh,
look at that movie again, you're gonna
yeah.
see that TV.
All
Yes,
right.
box. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's nice. So when the coat was designed, who actually made the coat? I mean, how do
We it was designed in the Philippines,
oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
and
Nice.
the shirts too, and we have some other things that were done. So we had actually two companies that we collaborated.
Mm. We're gonna have to look out for your line sometime soon. With all
Yeah,
that you've done, I know that it's just something that's coming soon.
yeah,
Okay, because we're gonna
yeah,
talk about a little bit, a few more things that you've done in your life. So we talked about how, you had been a principal, but you're also published. So,
yes,
we're going to talk about some things that you have published. So tell us about this book. This is just the first of two that we're going to talk about today. But,
right.
let us know what this is and what you published in this handbook.
Okay, so in this handbook, this is actually the ISLAC standards in action, what it is, the ISLAC standards is a principles guide on helping to develop and strengthen programs or
Mhm.
leadership programs in school. And
Mhm.
what it stands for is the Interstate School Leadership Licensure Consortium. So
Mm.
in the book itself, this particular host proficiency after dark was actually I did this in um, partnership with John Hopkins. They
Mm.
funded it and help me um, make to find a place where I could house it, and funded it financially. And I did this at Kennedy. Matter of fact, even though they said Kennedy Junior High or Kennedy Junior
Mhm. Oh,
High
yeah.
School,
Mhm.
it was just Kennedy Junior. Um, but yes, as you see, my name is there. Yes,
Mhm.
it was a very successful program, and the program was designed to help students pass the Ohio proficiency test. So
Yes.
we did a weekend at Affinity Baptist Church, and we had served breakfast, um, lunch, and dinner, and we did um, I would say around the clock. Not they did go to sleep. Training on strategies on understanding how to take a reading test, understanding the strategy, social studies, and we actually went over items that would possibly be on the test from old
Mhm.
tests.
Mhm.
And they were able to ask us questions. We did math. We had math. I think Mayada might have been there. We had math, social studies, English, and reading. So just to help our young people make sure that they
Oh,
are
absolutely.
able to pass, help
Yes.
to assist them in
Standards.
retaining, yeah, not
Mhm.
to pass those tests.
Now I know we have more about your experiences in Cleveland schools. Yes. So this is celebration again. Was this Ted Ginn's celebration?
Yes, this was Ted Ginn's 60th birthday. Yeah,
60th birthday. So we'll tell
no,
him birthday.
and that was Al. We call him Fat Al. He came in out of some of you may have heard of him. He made a couple songs. He was in my school, and I always tell him. I said, you know what? Don't let 18 catch you in this hallway because I'm gonna give you the boot. No, I wasn't really gonna give him the boot, but I gave him to make sure he went to class.
Uh-huh.
And then it was there. That's Tiffany. That is Ted Ginn's daughter,
Oh, okay.
our son. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a very nice, and it was held at was it Windows on the River?
Oh, yes, that's what it looks like. It's so nice that Cleveland, honors him. I mean,
Yes.
Ginn Academy, he's when people say Ted Ginn, in and outside of Cleveland, they know exactly who he is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And, he's been such a wonderful figure, for young people in Cleveland, not only the football players, but, beyond,
Yes,
beyond.
absolutely. Anybody that he can reach out and help,
Mhm.
he's
Absolutely.
always there.
So I think we saw the picture of, oh, yes. And I
Oh,
told you
yeah.
I recognized somebody in this picture. So I knew that this was not your family because I told you I recognized
Right.
somebody. picture.
right. That's well, that's me in the center, and that's Cherie Ray, and she was a teacher and a principal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to the right is LaDonna, and LaDonna's husband was um, oh, I want to say her husband, the park that's over there by Glenville.
Mm.
They named the park after her husband. I want to say
Oh,
Bunk Hill or Bunk some. I can't remember that name,
okay.
but they named it after her husband.
Okay. And I told you I recognized Cherie Ray when she was an undergraduate
Yes,
student in
yes,
Cleveland.
rewrite. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Cleveland's only, but so big. People know each other. People.
absolutely, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we're going to move on to some of your travels, some of your exciting travels, and you can take us through some of the places that you've been. These are some of your friends and family you've traveled with.
Yes, or my daughter, of course, me. I'm not sure where I was coming from. Probably wherever it was, I transitioned from hot to cold. I know that because I changed
Mm,
coats. And I know this is Anita and we were on a cruise at this
mm,
particular on that one. That was my girl, but one of my best friends, Anita, and we were on a cruise. We went to the Caribbean. We went on a Caribbean
mm,
cruise.
mm.
Need one of those right now. Another favorite spot of mine is Savannah. I love Savannah,
Okay.
and I love to visit Paula Dean's restaurant because I love her
I was
fish.
going to ask you what it is about Savannah that you love.
And I love, it's so historical and it's just so peaceful, and it's just it's just the way nature. It's got all these like uh, these trees, and they're like uh, I mean, it's just simply gorgeous. But I do go. I won't. I will let you know. I do go every time I go. I make sure I go to Paula Dean's restaurant twice before I leave out there. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
there's other restaurants, but I like the fish and the green tomatoes.
Okay. We know that she uses a lot of butter. I think that was one of the things about Paula Dean's restaurant. Yeah, I have to
Yes.
go. I've
Yeah.
never been to Savannah. I've never been
Oh,
there.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay. I have to do that. I'll have to do that. You've traveled to other
Oh,
exciting places as well.
I've been all over. And I was saying United States everywhere, Hawaii, you name it, I've been there. So this is well, actually one of the teachers I work with, Vicky, and she just got back from South Africa. I didn't have that pleasure.
Mm, mm,
Um, and this is Arizona. We were in Arizona.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Looks like Sedona.
Yes,
Well,
Sedona. Mhm.
yes, yes. I was going to say a lot of the terrain once you start going west
Yes, yes.
changes this beautiful red
Oh,
mountains.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
And you have also traveled outside of the country.
Yes, Egypt. I'm trying to
Hmm.
think. There is one tomb we went down. I'll never forget. I think it was like going down was like 63 steps.
Oh,
Yeah. So
mm.
it was quite
And when
interesting.
did you take this trip? When did you go to Egypt?
Uh, let's see. That had to be right just before COVID. It was in
Ah, okay.
2019. Yeah, 2019.
Wow, it's recent. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we were pretending like we're pulling something.
Hmm.
The gentlemen, they actually are, some of them are archaeologists. They're actually doing the real work, but we were pretending like we were pulling. And we were just walking. I mean, I think we probably put over 100,000 steps in this trip
Mm-hmm.
alone, if not more. Probably more, but you know, probably more because every place you went, you walked.
Hmm. Hmm. So what made you decide to go to Egypt?
I wanted to actually see for myself the history that Egypt holds. It's the oldest
Hmm.
civilization in the world, and I just kind of wanted to actually look at it and get an opportunity to talk to, the natives, get an opportunity to visit. Actually, we did. We visited Luxor, Cairo, and Aswan. We traveled down, and that's a picture of us traveling down the Nile River. Got a chance to get out of and put my feet in the Nile River. This was Aspen. We were we were going in the city, inside the real city. And so what I got a chance to see, the city, of course, does not have a good sewer system, so we couldn't drink the water. And people were, not well off. I mean, you had some that were well off, and like any place else, people still struggling, trying to make it. But it was just the people were nice and kind, and of course, they did their try a little bit of trying to hustle, trying to make money, and I respected that. So I came out with a lot of nice little. I would go. That's a trip I would take again. I mean, there's other trips I have on my bucket list to do, but I would definitely take Egypt again.
It was life changing.
I mean, just the ruins and the tombs, and just to see all of the history behind it, and it's like you probably need another trip just to comprehend it all. Sure. But I bought a lot of books back.
I'm sure. Who did you go with? Who traveled with you?
I actually went with my daughter and my friend. We were roommates, but it was actually sponsored by Olivet Church.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice. Wow, very nice.
And that was our room on the boat as we traveled down the Nile River.
Something life changing, I'm sure.
Oh, it was. It was.
Because we see so many pictures. It's different, I'm sure, being there.
Oh, absolutely.
Being there. That's wonderful. And I'm glad that you got there before COVID.
Yes.
Who knew COVID was going to happen? So you happened to get in there before your trip was canceled because of COVID.
Yes.
So and that, and for you to mention Olivet, this was a trip that was sponsored by the church. You have a very significant church affiliation, as well as the fact that you've studied theology. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we'll go on to some slides so you can share this with us, because this is another whole part of your life, and you've also, published, something that I think people will be very interested in. So tell us about your study.
Okay. I think it was in maybe 92-ish. Not quite sure with the date, but I studied under Dr. Johnny Coleman. Went to her theological seminary school. Studied to be a teacher of a deeper awareness of Christianity. Now, so some of the individuals were like Mary Ann Williamson, Dr. Eric Butterworth, Dr. Charles Fillmore. So it was a self-help ministry, how you understand that you are the thinkers who think the thoughts that manifest the thing, and understanding the Bible, and that everyone is on a different level of consciousness. So what I may grasp, you may grasp it differently, but it doesn't mean the message is not meant to be the same. It's just because our developmental stage is almost like your child developmental stage, your mindset develops, according to your experiences and according to how you let life affect you. So if you're depending on the environment that you come in, it may take you a little longer to really digest and dissect a particular scripture. So I love this. program, I learned a lot. Uh, I learned how to understand myself and people, and it brought me closer to God. And I was wanting to help individuals understand um, that your greatness lies within you, and no one can take it from you. You know, God gave it to you. So when God gives it to you, no one can take it from you. And also understanding that we are our God's children equally the same. I don't care who you are. God has no grandchildren. We are God's children equally the same. And so to understand who and what you are in relations to God, your spiritual development, and you what your purpose in this world is to be about God's business and to help mankind. And I live by, you are your brother's keeper. You definitely are your brother's keeper. And I remember, well, I guess I'll wait till we get to my book.
Yes, we're going to get to that. And you say that, and just how, and we're going to show the next slide, I think, is with, yes, you
Okay.
are involved with and some of us may know what the SCLC stands for. So share with us how it is that you are involved with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Okay, so this is this was actually was it? They were honoring the Selma Montgomery March, and these are just some of the individuals that were actually involved. As you see, Dr. Steele is still, I believe, the president, and these are some of the individuals. Now, this was the Atlanta, and there were some other people that came, but this was basically the Atlanta chapter. And my minister, the Reverend Dr. Cavanis, is also a member of SCLC, as I am a member of the SCLC, which is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. This is what Dr. King started many, many years ago. And Reverend Cavanis is the president of the Cleveland chapter. And this is actually, we went to Atlanta to celebrate Reverend Jesse Jackson, as you see him up top. And that's my minister, Reverend Cavanis. And also, these are just some of the church members that actually, I guess, I took the picture. I'm not in the picture, but I took the picture. Yeah, so that was in Atlanta to celebrate Dr. Jesse Jackson. And at the Southern Christian Leadership at one of the conferences.
Yes, and I know that Reverend Cavanis has, well, Greater Abyssinia has always been the Cleveland headquarters for the SCLC since the 1960s, 50s, or whenever it was founded.
Yes. He was, my mother was on the first board. My mother, and some of you may know Charles Bibbs, and Hilton was. He actually sponsored that first. I remember Hilton sponsoring something, because my mother's on the picture, and at that time it was called the Civil Rights Committee, and then it later turned into the Social Development, which is still up under the SCLC.
Important organization.
Yes.
And
the battle still continues. The battle still
continues. Yes, very important, especially in these times. And here's another picture of you and a church member here.
Important. Yeah, this is the assistant minister. We are very good friends, been friends. That's his mother, Mrs. Cavanis, in the back. And if many of you may have heard of Miss Cavanis, she was a music teacher, beautiful operatic voice. And that's myself and Thapi, as we call him, the Reverend TJ. We've been friends probably for about 40 some years.
Like family.
Family. We were definitely family. I used to hang out at his house with his, more or less with his mother.
And we have this final slide. I'm going to take some time with this final slide because, like I said, you were published in a periodical, but you also have a book of your own. So please share this with us and let us know that it is available on Amazon.
Yes.
So you're a published author. Please share with us, your inspiration to write the book and what this book is about.
Well, so I wrote the book dedicated really to my heavenly Father, and then to my father. Um, and when I couldn't think of a title initially, and then I said,
Mm.
oh, the mastermind, meaning the great mind, prayers for enlightenment. And so I wanted to do something that would help people. I call it my medicine book because everything in here, I don't care where you start in the book, it's therapeutic. It can help you if you're down and out, if you're going through a situation. It will help you. It can help you see a brighter day or a brighter moment, or maybe help you garner a smile.
Mhm.
And so I actually it was my art teacher that actually drew the page on the front. So if you see the road and then the rainbow, this is almost like if you can envision the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what you've been going through, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So my art teacher actually drew this, and then on the back side, but you don't have to, I know you won't be able to see it, but the back side is actually an angel, and then it's I have a cocoon and a rainbow, so it's like the metamorphosis of life, the things that we go through, and then when you turn into that wonderful butterfly, it's like you had the epiphany of something great that's going to happen in your life, or something you have uncovered, and it's like the light bulb goes off. And so as I wrote the book, and I actually had the book printed on on my dad's birthday.
Oh,
So I wanted it to make sure it was, and actually this one is I self-published this one. So I did, I hired a company to help me set it up and help me with, the layouts. And then I had to have someone besides my daughter and a couple of people with the editing. And so, like I said, the book consists of, I think it's like 20, it's 48 pages. It talks a little bit about me. I give you daily affirmations. I give you an evening prayer, but just some of the titles, and then of course my message from me, like a morning prayer, how to learn to let go and let God, how to deal with the storms of life, be grateful and give thanks in all things. I have a couple of my poems, as you see here to the right. I have published bookmarks, some of my poetry that I've done. And so I always like to tell people, so when you get the book, it's like, no matter where you start, it's like, it's something within yourself that's going to drive you to a particular page. It's going to be what you need. So it's not a where you have to start at the beginning. You can start in the middle. But a couple things that I do want to highlight, I always talk about when I try to live. Marcus Aurelius is one of my heroes. And in my introduction, I put down one of his quotes, and he wrote a lot of great things himself. He says, "If it's not right, do not do it. If it's not true, do not say it." And I tell people that, that sticks with me. And then Mark Twain says it best. He says, "Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see." And those two, these two great individuals, are like a guiding light for people. If you live by, if it's not right, do not do it. If it's not true, do not say it. And whatever you do, as Mark Twain says, kindness is the language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. So, like I said, when I wrote the book, I wanted it to be able to help people, no matter what. I didn't want a difficult read, and I didn't want a very in-depth read. I
Mhm.
wanted something that was soft and subtle, and could help you get through a particular situation or a moment that you may be going through in your life. And as you can see, I just dedicated it, of course, to my children.
Yes.
Then I dedicated it to my students. And I
Mm.
say I appreciate all the love and inspiration they have given me, because really I always thank them all the time, because I said, you are and have been my teachers. Then, of
Mhm.
course, my mom, and to another good, very good friend of mine, Dr. NJ Powers, and my sister also, Mary Grace, who's been such a um, an angel to my family.
Mhm.
And of course, above all, the greatest power
Mhm.
that lies within all of us. And I want people to know that this was definitely a God-inspired book.
Mhm.
And on the right side, I have written several periodicals, inspirational periodicals for the Daily Inspiration. As you see, one back in 2007, it's in the center. And then I wrote in December, um, I wrote that whole 31 day
Oh,
inspiration for better living.
my goodness.
Yeah. So I do have another book. I have two books
Oh,
that
really? Okay.
I have been commissioned to write. Well, my Reverend Cabinet is one. I've actually, the manuscript is probably 75% done. It's just I'm
Mm.
now collecting pictures and doing things like that. I've been
Oh,
working on that book because
now, is
he
it a
has so,
biography of Reverend Cavendish? I mean, it
yes,
was, oh my
yes,
goodness.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a lot of history that I had to uncover
Mm.
and
Yes.
decipher, and so it was a lot. And then I interviewed a lot of individuals
Oh, sure.
um, that could shed light on his life
Oh,
of
yeah.
96 years this year. So
96.
I've been blessed to I want to say, I want to put it lightly, but I've been blessed to dibble and dabble in a lot of things that have helped me grow and be a better person. And
Mm.
hopefully, what I've done, I can help other people,
I'm sure that
be better people.
you do and you have and you I was like, when do you have time to do this? And you're still writing another book.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my clothing line off the ground, and then I'm trying to. Uh,
Yes.
I'm working on. Actually, I'm going back to school. I'm not the PhD, but I'm going
Okay.
back to school just to finish up my reading certificate.
Okay.
Just all because I want everybody to know, which you know it being a professor. Learning is lifelong. It
Oh
never
my,
stops.
oh my
It
goodness.
never,
Every
unless
day.
you have to stop it. But it's
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can learn not only from books or information from other people, like
absolutely,
you know, from your students, the inspiration your students
yeah,
give you.
absolutely.
I
I went
understand.
into a restaurant, and just me and some other people from Shaker, and we had dinner, and it was just so funny, because one of the gentlemen was in the corner looking at me. He says, "That lady looks familiar." And I said, "I'm thinking, you look familiar too." So he comes over and he said, "Miss Hairston." I said, "Yeah." It was little Mikey. And I found out that him and Ted Ginn on the facility that
Okay.
we were at. And so it was just good to see him, because he was little Mikey. And little Mikey, if you hear me, yes, you gave me a fit. You remember Miss McDowell had to get you in that biology class, but we made it work.
Uh-huh.
And me out of might remember that too.
It takes a village.
Absolutely, yeah. And they never forget you. I even saw one of my students, and he reminded me. He says, "I still have your picture on the mantle
Oh
of
my goodness. Oh,
your
that's
graduation picture."
what a
Yeah, and then
compliment.
I have one of my fifth grade students. when I was doing my student teaching. She's actually a principal at Mercer Elementary.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness.
So you just never know.
You've had on so many people's lives
Yeah,
in so many different ways, in so
right.
many different ways. Well, we have a lot of people with us today. Anybody want to chime in, ask a question? I see some familiar faces here.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Anybody want to chime in or post a note in the chat?
Well, Miss Hairston, I want to say I really enjoyed listening to you and seeing the picture of you and my good friend, uh, uh, Charles's wife, Vicky. I have
Oh,
breakfast with her brother every week, Ron. We had breakfast yesterday morning. And Dr. Rice, I
yes.
was at East Cleveland when she was sworn in on the school board recently because I swore in Vernon Robinson that night. But keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else want to chime in? I see
Um,
Sam, yes, I
Hi,
see.
yeah, really enjoyed your story. Where are your books available?
It's on Amazon.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank
Mhm.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I mean, a number of people are, self-publishing. I mean, and you said you worked along with someone who helped you, publish your book. I have another friend who just did that as well, because what people have to say is very important.
Right. And if people want to reach out, I do it. If you want help, I'll be more than happy to help people. Right now I'm working with a gentleman. He's doing an expungement for veterans and other
Mhm.
individuals. So that's another, I'm working on that. Well, now, especially this election year. So making sure that people are aware of making sure they get on a get on somebody's paper sign where we right now I think they're talking about gerrymandering, and we're
Mhm.
trying to put that on the ballot. So we're just trying to get the signatures that we needed to get that on the ballot. And the other one is to making sure people understand about purging, um, making sure that they're not purged off of
Mhm.
because a lot of people don't even realize it. If they
Yes.
have not, they say if you have not voted in 4 years, they can purge you.
Mhm.
But if that's not true, we found out because we've been working diligently for the last 3 weeks at various nursing senior
Mhm.
citizen building.
Mhm.
And one lady said they sent in the ballot, but they don't know if if it actually made it down there. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of work.
Yes, yes.
But somebody we have to do it. We have to help her,
Mhm.
and especially help some of our seniors, because even my mother, who was waited to the last final hour of this last election, and I told her, I said, I don't have the time to come get your ballot and to take it down town and put it in the box before Tuesday. I think Tuesday at midnight. So that's why we're starting out early, the social development committee.
Yes, that's very important. This was wonderful. This was wonderful. You have such a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
Your wonderful life and your work and how many people you've touched, and you continue, I'm sure, every day, you offer your gifts to, people that you're working with. So I'm always looking for people to interview for Witness to History. Actually, I can tell you at this point, I think I know what I'm doing for the summer, folks. For our next Witness to History, you can mark your calendar for July 19th. July 19th. July is a busy month. So our next Witness to History is going to be July 19th. And it's going to be a special one that will be kind of a little mini reunion among some former students or graduates of Moreland Elementary School. And so we're going to record it actually, and there will be some people there who will reminisce about being students at Moreland Elementary. And I want to announce as well that on August 4th, please mark your calendar because there's going to be an event at the library that's going to commemorate the whole idea that, you know, the library was Moreland Elementary School. So that's going to happen. The library is going to sponsor that on Sunday, August 4th. And the Witness to History in August is also going to be recorded during that time on August 4th. But the second Sunday of August will be when that will air. So we're, you
Can
know,
you tell
yes,
what time is that again?
the event on August 4th.
Yes.
It's from 1 to 5, I think. Sam, you're on that committee too. I think that's the time. It is Sunday afternoon, August
Okay.
4th. So mark your
And the
calendar.
one on the 19th.
The one on the 19th will be Witness to History. So we'll be right here on Zoom.
Okay.
Same address, same link. So that
Okay.
will be one. We'll have a number of people who will reminisce. Let me put it that way. Talk about the, you know, the experiences and fun they had going to Moreland Elementary. So, so we'll look forward to seeing. And of course, anybody who would like to be my guest, I really like planning ahead. So, you know, please send me an email or just give me a buzz. And I'd be happy to have you as a guest on Witness to History. So thank you so much, Sophronia Hairston.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tonight. This was absolutely wonderful sharing your story. So as I said, and I know Megan had posted the library site where the recordings are there. So if you happen to have friends who weren't able to join us this evening, please let them know that your interview is going to be on the Shaker Public Library